Go ahead.
Okay, it's test. It says it's recording. Do you see the
Yep,
red
that's
dot?
recording.
Yep,
No, I
it's
didn't.
recording.
Okay, I'm going to pause.
Hopefully everybody can see their chat window. If you don't see a chat window, go down to the bottom and click on chat. Please rename yourself to name -- call sign asterisk if you're a member. Name -- call sign exclamation if you're a potential new member waiting to be voted into the club today. And name -- call sign and then a pound sign if you're a visitor. And remember that when we go into full muting in just a minute, use your space bar as a push to talk switch. And I didn't have it on the chat, but if you don't have a call sign yet, just put your name and then asterisk. Well, no, I guess not at. Well, yeah, we have some members without call signs. Just don't worry about the call sign. And let's see, with that, that's the instructions for the virtual meeting. I'm going to try to remember that when we get into the voting of the new members, the person that we are voting on, I'm going to temporarily remove them from the meeting and put them into the waiting room so that the members can discuss and vote you in. And then when we're done with that, then I'll bring you back from the waiting room. And if there is somebody in the club that is willing to work the chat room or keep an eye on it, because I'm trying to keep an eye on that, but with all the juggling around, the last time I missed a couple of things.
How do we rename ourselves?
So to rename yourselves, I found out there was 2 new ways. So click your picture. If you're in the main viewing room, click your picture and rename yourself. Or you can click on the participants button, find yourself in the list, and highlight the more button, the blue more button, and rename yourself.
If you click on your picture, you're going to need to hit those 3 dots in order to rename yourself.
Cool. Thanks, Ivy, for that update. And I just see Madeline joined in.
Oh.
She's another prospective new member.
Hi there.
If you right click on your picture, it gives you a context menu that includes a rename option outright also. So.
Cool. Oh, darn it. I keep, and when you're in the chat room, if you start a private message, then you end up posting to that last private message all the time. So sorry, Rita, I keep sending things to you that I meant to send to everyone. Okay, I think that's enough. Let's go with the agenda, and David, our president, will do the welcome and president's report. So I'm going to mute everybody. Use your space, or use the hands up in the participants area if you want to talk. And
Jim, can you start video? Start recording?
yeah. So yeah, James has started the recording. Okay, David, the floor is yours.
All right. Thanks. Hey, thanks to Jim. Thanks to Jim for organizing all of these Zoom meetings. He's doing a lot of work behind the scenes, so I know the board really appreciates all of Jim's work, and he's been driving a lot of activity in the club. So thank you to Jim. If you could all send him virtual donuts or something, I'm sure he'd appreciate it. Yeah. So let's kick things off here. Thankfully, we have a quorum, so we'll be doing business today. I'm going to cover a field day update in the field day section of the meeting. So the only thing I would like to mention is, surprisingly, this is a very active time in the club. In fact, I don't know how it feels for you as club members, but for me, I feel like we're way more active now. I don't know if it's just because you're all shut in and you have nothing else to do, but there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of people getting together virtually and doing all sorts of interesting stuff. So I really appreciate everybody's enthusiasm and your participation. And I think another thing that I've noticed is everybody is much more willing to give things a try. Everybody's much more willing, to come back if the Zoom meeting doesn't work right the first time. So again, I really appreciate that. It's really exciting. I think this is a time when really the club could just shut down, right? Like we could just say, hey, we can't meet, we're just going to go on hiatus. Like we'll see you all in, 2057 or whenever the governor decides to open the world back up. I don't know, and keep slipping it. So I appreciate everybody's enthusiasm and support of the club. And I would just I know we have a lot of new people. In fact, we've had a phenomenal number of people applying to join the club. That's great. I just encourage everyone, if you're a new member, don't feel like you can't ask questions. There's really no such thing as a stupid question. I think I can speak for everyone in the club that we're happy to answer any questions you have. We're happy to really help you with anything. Sometimes we don't know, so we might be learning with you, but we have a lot of resources. So often we can find the right person for us that can give us advice. So I would just encourage you to, try not to be too shy. Feel free to reach out. If you're not sure, just shoot me an email. It's my call sign at arl.net. So WA7DY at ARL.net. Shoot me an email. I'll connect you with somebody because I won't have the answer. But anyway, again, thanks everyone for your participation. I really appreciate it. This is an amazing club, and I really do appreciate you all. So let's speaking of new members, let's move on to Phil. Phil is our vice president. He's in charge of the induction of new members to the club. Phil, if you would. Is he still muted?
Oh, I wasn't expecting you to come to me so quickly. I thought
Sorry,
you had some other reports first.
I'll try to be more verbose next time.
Okay. Hold on. Let me see here. I think we have 3 new members waiting to be voted on today. Yes, we do. And if you're new and you haven't updated your thing yet, just let me know and I'll add you to the list. So first on our and Jim, do you got the suspension thing ready to go this time?
Yeah, thanks for the reminder. So when we go to vote a new person in, I'm going to temporarily move that person into the waiting room, and so the membership can discuss and vote on you.
Okay, great. Thanks, Jim. So first on our of our new member, potential new members here is Diego Martinez. Go ahead and tell us a bit about yourself. How you doing today?
Hi, everyone. My name is Diego. I'm an electrical engineer. I work at Microsoft. And I'm really excited to join the club. And I'm an amateur, I don't know, like radio enthusiast. But I don't have a lot of experience on this, so I'm looking forward to getting to know a lot about radio communications and all that. I just ordered a few SDRs, so I'll get started on that. I want to do everything as much as I can on the computer so that I can kind of like get a lot done on software. So because software is something that really excites me a lot. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to joining the club. And if you have any, I don't know, any interest in antennas, SDRs, or like FTA reception, like satellite TV and stuff like that, please let me know, because that's something that I really enjoy too.
Okay,
That's
great.
all I have.
Great.
Hey, Diego, what area are you at in Microsoft? What campus?
So I'm at, it's called the Arcade. It's in, okay, so I can tell you the location. It's on 502 with Redmond Way. So
Oh,
it's, let's see, it's close to Target in Redmond. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
so that's what I do there. I do RF work there.
Just another thing is there is a micro hams ham club there, and they meet up. Well, they were meeting up at Building 34, but with all of this changes, I don't know what they're going to be doing. They're probably doing virtual just like we are. So, okay, good
Okay,
to know.
yeah,
Yeah, we'll keep in touch.
sounds
Okay.
good. Thank you.
Does anybody have anything to ask Diego, or does anybody have any comments? Floor is open.
I would like to ask how you heard about our club and what inspires you to join.
So I was looking for a club where I could learn about ham radio, and yeah, all of a sudden I just Googled and I found your website here, like your club, and I was really excited, to learn that there's a club in this area and that I can, learn with you guys, and everyone seems really friendly. So that's awesome, that we're all here for the same purpose, to learn and have fun. So yeah, it's awesome that, that I found you guys here. Okay, so one thing I'd like to say, what building? So the building that I work at Microsoft is, it's called the Arcade. So yeah, so I don't know if that's clear to you guys.
Yeah, I know where it is.
Diego, are you working towards getting your license, or are you already a licensed ham?
I have to get my license.
Cool. Great.
Yeah, so yeah, I have to kind of like start from scratch, I guess.
You'll do great. It's not too difficult to get your tech.
Thank you.
But study for the general. That way
Yeah,
you can
do both
jump
at the same
into
time.
HF.
Yeah, one thing I like to say, guys, is that I'm sorry for the ugly background here. There's a like I'm using Linux right now, and I don't know how to set up the background image for the chat. So I don't know how, because I don't know if that is an option on Linux.
I love the router by the window. That's good.
Yeah. Actually, we're all like, it looks great. He's in a dark basement with a bunch of wires running everywhere. You're one of our people.
You'll fit right in.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a router right behind me, so yeah. But I'm sorry for the ugly background.
That's cool, man. Anybody else?
Yeah. What made you get interested in ham radio?
I love wireless communication. Cellular, I don't know, whatever, satellite links, radio in general. I really like that. So, if there's any opportunity to experiment and just play with wireless stuff, that's all that I really want. Like find people that like that stuff too. So that's why I want to do it. And yeah, that's why I'm so excited about this.
Well, you'll soon learn that it's not wireless.
Oh no, there's a lot of wires behind the radio.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody ever tell you it's wireless. Thanks.
All right, thanks. Okay, so anything else for Diego?
Okay, Diego, I'm gonna put you into the waiting room so that people can vote on you, and then I will join you back into the meeting after everybody's voted.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
So are we doing it all? Are we voting all at once, or?
Yeah, let's just vote all at once. Let me move Diego to the waiting room.
Okay. Okay, so I can go ahead and move on to the next one.
Well, no. Let's
voting
vote
now?
on. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You don't want to
I
talk to all the new
misunderstood.
candidates and then put them out and then vote for everyone at one time.
Sorry, guys, I didn't ask my traditional field day question, but
Yeah, you
you
failed.
know, I don't know. I just don't know. So I'm not going to ask this month.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Phil, let's just vote on Diego and then bring him back in. That way people aren't in the waiting room too long.
Too long. Okay.
So only members should be voting.
Did anybody have any
discussion?
Anybody have any
Discussion, yeah.
behind the back discussion?
Press your push to talk switch if you have anything that you'd like to add.
So I've talked to Diego a few times in email and also in some of our Zoom sessions and stuff. He's very, he wants to drink from the fire hose and things like that. He'll need some good mentoring by club members, I think, but he'll be a lot of fun to have around. That's my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah, seems like a pretty solid dude. It's like I've seen him a couple of times in the other Zoom things, like the rag chew and stuff like that. So seems like a nice guy.
Seems enthusiastic.
Yeah. So again, that's great.
Okay, any other comments?
No, he works at Microsoft, so he's got my vote.
You've got a router hanging from the window. I like that.
Okay, shall we do the vote then?
All right. So, did somebody else have something to say?
How do we vote?
Oh, so see, we have yes or no. It's like vote yes or no. There's it's there on the right pane, the participants under the participants list.
Under the participants.
Yeah, click on participants down at the bottom and it'll bring up the list of participants and there'll be a green yes check mark or a red X check mark, and you can just push it and it'll show up on the screen.
Okay.
And it also gives us a count. Right now we're at 37, 39, 40. And again, just the members should be voting. If you're a visitor or a prospect, please don't vote.
Yeah, so either vote yes or no for Diego. And it looks like we've got enough, and yep. Looks like we're good. Diego's in.
Okay, I'm gonna clear this and add Diego back in.
I noticed we have some people logged in via phone. How do they vote?
That's the only bummer with logging in via phone. There is no way to vote.
Yeah, we made this decision and announced it at the first Zoom meeting we had where we did club business, that we are not allowing members that call in via the phone to be part of the votes
of
club business.
Correct.
And I've added Diego, so everybody give him a claps, round of applause. You are a new member.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Diego, if you go up to the Mike and Key website, and there's a section over there to where you can go in and pay your membership fee via PayPal or Square.
Sounds great. I'll do it.
Okay, great. Congrats. Thanks for joining us, Diego.
Thank
And
you very much.
yeah. Okay, so the second prospective member we have for your consideration today is Madeline Mills, KG7 NUW. How you doing today? And tell us a little bit about yourself, Madeline. Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Yeah, Madeline Mills. I normally work in Renton for Providence St. Joseph Health, which locally is probably more known as Swedish, but it's a health system, and I work in marketing technology, managing a team there. But I actually, while I was in college, I worked at the local radio station, and I took a real interest in like maintaining the equipment and that sort of stuff. So the station engineer at the time would take me along on rides to go check the tower and we had like a microwave link that went from the top of our hill to the top of a mountain. And so I got some time on the tower. I got some time learning about the equipment. And yeah, back then it was all reel to reel. And I mean, it was just a really fascinating world to dip into. So that's kind of how I got started in radio. And that made a really natural jump for me to ham radio. And so I actually ended up, I got my ham radio license back then and used it for a while as I was kind of in that space. And then I let it lapse and it expired and I didn't renew it. And so I am kind of coming back to it again. And yeah, with so much time at home and, you know, with something like this going on, I thought, you know, this is such an important skill and it's such an important like part of society, I think, to have vital communications and a group of people that are committed to that. And so I took a real interest in it again and you know, studied again for my tech, and just recently, actually, 2 weeks ago, took the test virtually. There's a group that's doing fully virtual testing, and I was able to do that. The club in Rexburg, Idaho, is doing it. So I was so grateful that they are doing that, and I was so excited to get my call sign again, and just wanted to get involved with y'all.
Congratulations on getting your license again.
Yeah, that's fantastic, Madeline. Good to hear that. Anybody have any comments or questions for Madeline? Your floor is open.
Yes, what radio station did you work for?
So it was originally named KCDS, Kilo Charlie, Kilo Charlie David Sierra, and it got renamed to KNBL, like candle. But it has since it actually got purchased about 10 years ago by a classical radio network in the Bay Area. So it doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately.
AM or FM?
It was FM. Yeah, we covered the whole North Bay of San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
Does your hospital have an ham antenna on the roof? A number of hospitals do.
So I work in the headquarter office, and I'm pretty sure that we don't. I was actually looking recently to see if there was an employee resource group for hams, and it doesn't look like there is one, which I'm quite surprised about because we're a big company. So I need to either start one or, you know, find other hams within the company and make some connections. I would like that very much.
Great.
When you became interested in joining the club, how did you find it?
So I was looking for ham radio clubs that were in, like, you know, that were south of Seattle, that would be close to my home or work. You know, and at the time I was like researching what are the local repeaters, and so yeah, I liked I liked that y'all had a presence in Renton, and I was glad that there was a repeater that you know, the group of you maintained, and so it felt like a mature club. It had been around for a long time, and so that's how I found you, just by research.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ivy?
Sam has been sitting there waving his hand. I think he doesn't know about the raise your hand button.
Oh, did he? Do you have anything, Sam?
Sam's on the other page. I don't see him.
Yeah, Madeline, this is Sam in 7RHE. With your background and touching into broadcast, did you ever get a commercial broadcast license?
No, I never did. I was just always kind of like the tag along and the helper. So I never went all the way. And once I got out of college, you know, I kind of got into technology in general, and that's kind of how I made a career. But I never, never went commercial.
Are you planning on changing back to your K6 call?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think maybe I'm just going to start over and stick with this one. I kind of like that it's a 7, you know?
Yeah. It's like, yeah, there's plenty of vanity call signs out there with for 7. So yeah, look into your options for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, not seeing anything. Go ahead and Jim, and go ahead and suspend her real quick. Put her out of the
Madeline,
meeting.
we're
Wait
going to
real quick.
send you to the waiting room and vote on you, and I'll join you back in.
Thanks.
Okay, so does anybody have anything to discuss about Madeline?
I think she sounds like she's going to be a real asset with her background and interest with broadcast and then coming up through ham radio.
Yeah.
I think Jim, K7JGM has his hand up.
Oh, he does. Yeah, go ahead, Jim.
Thanks, Hal. I wanted to mention to her, and if somebody does when she comes back in, that'd be fine. Medical services team, if she wants to check.
Oh, yeah.
That would be a great resource for her. They've got a lot of radios in a lot of hospitals. She can either join or find a way to integrate there. And frankly, she had me at Towers, so she's in.
Yeah.
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
hey, Jim, when we join her back in, go ahead and we'll let you announce that. That's a good reminder.
Yeah. Okay, and it looks like Scott has something.
Yeah, I have one thing. I want to remind folks that they need to rename their names on your stuff so we can properly account for you being a club member.
Yes.
There's several folks that joined recently. One of them is president. The other one is Keith Sypad that didn't follow the guidance from Jim. We want to make sure, Christopher, I assume you are, although you seem to put your last name in too.
That's fine.
To be fair, I think a lot of these folks joined after the last time Jim posted the thing on the chat room.
Yeah. So I just reposted the instructions again because, yeah, we found out that when I posted, if somebody joins in, they may not get the previous chat.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and clear all of the votes so that we can get a proper vote and remove everybody's hands up. So.
Okay, so if we don't have any more comments, you can go ahead and vote either yes or no for Madeline. Go ahead now.
And again, only Mike and key members should be voting.
Only members, yes. Okay. Scrolling up and down here. It looks like, appears we have enough just by a glance. And are we, it's like, do we have majority, Jim?
Oh, yeah. 44 out of 53.
Okay, good. That's good enough for me.
Okay, I'm going to clear and bring Madeline back in.
Okay. Is she back in?
There. Congratulations, Madeline. You're the latest member. Jim has something for you. Jim?
Go ahead, Monson.
Unmute. My PTT was not working. Sorry about that. Yeah, hi, Madeline. Jim Monson here, K7JGM. Being involved with hospitals, you might want to check in with the medical services team. There are quite a few radios in the hospitals around here, and you can find some way to integrate with them.
Awesome.
Back to Nat.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, you guys, and congratulations, Madeline. Thanks for joining us. Okay. And we've got one more to vote on here. We've got Matt Bennett, KJ7VHF. I like that call. Go ahead, Matt. Tell us a bit about yourself. Over to you.
Hey, can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, I'm on a boat right now. My name is Matt. I live in Ballard. I'm a ship's engineer by trade. I'm at work right now, actually, just taking a quick break. Recently got interested in the hobby, always wanted to do it. Finally pulled the trigger after taking some electrical classes. I just have my technicians right now, but I'm working on upgrading that to general. I really want to break into HF. I've got a couple of radios now, so really excited to progress in the hobby. I'd like to join. You guys seem to be a local group with good participation, so just wanted to share in the resources and see what I can contribute.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. Any questions, comments, concerns for Matt? Floor is open.
So you're either at work or that's a really cool basement you're in.
Yeah. I'm at work. Just taking a quick little union break here.
Oh man, I wish my house looked like that. Yeah.
Anybody else?
I like the suffix of your call sign.
Yeah, me too.
I'm interested, when you decided to get involved in a club, did you find us via the web or via word of mouth, or how did you find the club?
Both actually. I started doing a 2-meter with the PSRG group, and I've heard you guys mention before, so I looked you up. Yeah, looking at ham resources in the area, you guys come up online.
So, thanks for finding us.
Hey, Matt, what kind of ships are you helping out there?
I'm on the ferries.
Oh,
great.
Cool.
How long have you been with them?
2 years now.
Well, they're still afloat.
Doing
something right.
On the
Except for the 2 that we just, I guess they're still floating, but we lost, decommissioned 2 ships, which is a bummer, but so it goes.
Yeah, that's just the way things go. Anybody else? Any questions, comments?
Matt, what excites you about the hobby? What is it that really gets you up in the morning, want to do? I
like to be able to connect with people, both locally and overseas even. I'm really interested in getting into the HF and doing some long range contacts. The other thing that's kind of sparked this was I live on a sailboat, and I came to the realization that I have a giant mast built in. So I'm excited to string a wire up and see what I can get.
Cool. Thank
Yeah,
you.
cool. So yeah, DXing is pretty fun. Any other questions or comments?
I have a brief comment. Usually on those sailboats, the folks use the backstay as insulated and use that for a vertical antenna.
A wire vertical or something.
Yeah, I've seen that. Just getting into the hobby right now, I think I'm going to start out with a long wire, and then eventually start saving up to get my backstay cut and get a proper antenna. But it's a little costly, unfortunately.
Okay.
Mike Dinkelman, you had something?
Oh, I was going to say, not only does he have a nice antennas there, he has a wonderful ground plane. So,
Oh yeah. Oh, it's called the water.
And Mike, let me just say you have a great looking hat.
I finally figured it out thanks to Dan Felt.
Anything else? Okay, so Jim, get the honors real quick.
Matt will put you into the waiting room and vote and bring you back in a little bit.
Thanks.
Okay, so do we have any behind the back comments, questions, the concerns for Matt? Floor is open.
He's a sailboater, just a boater too. That's good. Got lots of boaters here.
Yeah, I thought that would interest you, Michelle.
And I thought that was a ferry boat in the background of
Yeah.
his profile all along, because it just looked like one. Kind of wondered what boat. You know, we had a longtime member, works for the ferry department, still a member, in the name of Little John, but he was an electrician. So it looks like he's on board somewhere. I didn't want to really ask where yet.
Okay.
Several people already commented, but he's got a cool suffix for his call sign.
Yeah. It's like, I thought it looked a little different from the one on his application. It's no vanity call.
Yeah. So should we, if there's no
Maybe
more
we ought to
comments?
make him VHF chair when we have a real field day again.
Yeah, that's a good point there, Ivy. Anybody else? All right, so if, let's go ahead and vote on Matt, either yes or no.
And we're 44 of 56, so I think he's in.
I think we're good. Thanks,
Let me join him back in. All righty. Congratulations. You're in. You're the next
You're in.
contestant.
On the prices are
Thank you very much. I appreciate it,
Yeah.
guys.
So just a reminder, it was mentioned in the chat. All of the new members, please go up to the mikeandkey.org website, click on the membership, and then we're going to pretend that you are already you're going to renew, because that's the only way to get into the Square and PayPal, and you can pay your membership dues with Square or PayPal, or if you don't want to use those, you can just send a check for $12 for the single membership to the Mike and Key post office box. Okay, Phil, do you have any more?
P.O. Box 4234, Renton, Washington 98057.
Thanks, Dave, for reminding everybody of our post box there. So I don't think I have any more, but yes, we do indeed have a quorum overwhelmingly for your reference. And I'll be sending you that spreadsheet, Jim.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and just send it directly to, well, CC me, but send it to Rita for membership purposes.
I will do that, and I included all the new members and stuff on it's like on a separate pane. It's like further off and to the right at the main list.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Back to net, over to you, David.
All right, thanks for that, Phil. Let's move on to Scott AG7T. He'll give us our chairman of the board report. Scott, I assumed you had something to put you on the agenda.
Yep. We had a board meeting on the first Tuesday of the month, and the outgoing board did a business meeting, and the incoming board the outgoing members were congratulated or appreciated, and the incoming members were welcome. And we had a board meeting for that virtually. The minutes should be, I don't know, I didn't ask James, and I didn't go look and see where they got published. But we basically discussed options on field day. We discussed a bunch of other things. We assigned trustees, and all those will show up in the newsletter on the website if they're not already there. So that's about all I think I have. Back to net.
Cool. Do we have published minutes that the membership needs to vote on?
Oh, that's a good point. Do we? I'll need to go take a look at the newsletter.
So the minutes from the new board meeting are in the relay.
Oh, okay. So let's go ahead and say, is there a motion to approve the minutes? Do we have the general meeting posted as well? Did you see?
No, I just started. I just came on board.
No, I don't have
Michelle?
I don't have the general meetings put together here yet, so they're not published. But they are in the process and will be published, I would assume, the next relay that comes out.
Okay, so there's nothing to vote on right now.
Nothing to vote on.
So I'll send them to all the board and post it to the the group site when I get them down, so they can be read.
All right, let's move on to Hal then and get the radio officer report. It's been an exciting month for the repeaters. I think Hal will have some things to tell us.
Push to talk.
I'm trying to push to talk, but it wasn't happening for some reason. Maybe I got a crumb underneath my space bar. Yeah, so we had a pretty exciting month, and turned out not too bad. I do have a video here to share for those who have not seen the video. I did share it with the board members, and I'll share it with the club members if they want to see it right now. If Jim's enabled my sharing.
Yeah, enabled, shares enabled.
So on the 5th of May, there was a pretty heavy storm in the Issaquah area. And during that storm, sometime in the evening, Tuesday evening, they repeater, 220 repeater went off, and the 2-meter repeater went off. I'm not exactly sure when the 2-meter repeater actually stopped, but it's a very interesting little. How come it's not showing up on my dum. Oh shoot! Let me.
You shared your screen yet?
And you are muted, Hal.
No, I know for some reason it's not working right here. So let me bring up.
Here it comes.
Am I sharing right now?
Yep.
Okay.
You're sharing, yeah. Your
We get to
email.
read all your email.
You're sharing email. Hal, I'm gonna unmute you so you don't have to push space bar.
All right. Hang on a second here. Trying to, here we go. Let's see if I can do this. I played this before, it just, okay.
So you have to choose the window.
Yeah.
Can you see it now?
No, you're still showing you're showing just the window for the email, so you need to reshare with the other window of the MP3
No,
playing.
for some reason it's coming up over top of the over top of my Zoom, and I didn't want it to do that.
Al, trust us. Stop sharing, and when the video is open, start sharing the video window.
Well, not doing that for some reason. It's not, I can't see the. Well, for some reason, maybe if I move that over to the. Why don't you guys carry on? Let me come back here in a minute. I'm going to.
Click on your attachment.
I'm going to move it to the desktop and out of the email and see if it. There we go.
Double click on your attachment.
Well, for some reason, it's not coming up on my desktop. It's actually coming up over top of Zoom. And
Hang on, I'll share it. I've got it here.
I can't.
Hal, here it is. And
there it is.
Please look at the top left rack. and watch what's going on. Sounds like a noisy family. And here it comes. Oops. Did y'all see that spark?
Yeah.
Let out all of that technology there.
Yeah. So obviously you could hear the hail and the rain on the roof of the building. And actually there was some rumbling which occurred also about the time that we had the lightning strike. You could hear the rumbling, thunder in the background. And so looks like what happened was that we had some energy from the lightning strike enter in on the power lines to the building. And it popped 2 circuit breakers. And then it was really kind of cool to be able to look at this video before we went to the mountain on Saturday, because we had no idea what the problem was, or other than that the 2 repeaters were down and other repeaters on that site were still up. So it gave us a real good clue as to that power went down on 220 because the circuit breaker popped, and power went down on the 2-meter repeater because the charger took a hit and showed failure. And the 2-meter repeater went on batteries, and eventually the batteries dropped down to the point where they would no longer support the repeater operating. And so the repeater quit. So that occurred about 9:34 and 20 some seconds. And it really gave us a really good clue as to there probably wasn't a major problem at the site other than the charger. And when we got to the site, we were able to then look at that and well, I don't even have I have the picture open on the charger. I saw it. Oh, let me see here. That's out. Now let's see. Let me close down here again, and it's not open for some reason. There's the video. And
Question, Hal, is that a 24-volt charger or are you using 212-volt?
it's actually a 24-volt charger because the repeater requires 24 volts. On
Al, I've got the picture if you want me to share that. If
yeah, go
that
ahead.
can be.
Yeah, go ahead. So
Jim, you want to allow my sharing, please?
Yeah, it's everybody's able. Should be good.
yeah, so Steve took the charger. So when we got up there, we found out that lo and behold, the charger did show a failure on it, and the repeaters were both off. So we unplugged the batteries and unplugged everything, and hooked your repeater back into AC power supply, and it come up and operated fine. Excuse me, into the wall jack after they reset the circuit breakers, and the repeater came up fine, operated fine. We checked it all out, and everything's normal. Brought up the 220 repeater, did the same thing with it, and everything's normal. So our only damage so far right now is the charger and something in the voltage power supply. So Steve, did you
hold on here,
sending that up to
at this point in time, I've called them. I have not gotten a response back. So that is, can you see my share?
Yep.
Right. Yes.
So obviously that's what blew. I called the repair place, or I called the service center up in Bellingham. I left them a message on Monday. I've not heard back from them again. I'll give them a call again. Looks like the company has changed names. So I'm not sure what we're going to be able to get with this. So
Yeah, I was looking at that. Is that a diode or a?
it's a diode. It's a diode, and then the resistor has taken some a little bit of damage from the spark, but the diode is cracked right down the center.
There might be some sort of a protective diode in there. So.
Was that the charger or the power supply?
That's a charger.
The charger.
Thank you.
So yeah, what the system up there is, it's a 24-volt charger, and we have 2 batteries up there. They're in series, and it charges the 2 batteries, and then our controller runs off of 12 volts, which is across one of the batteries. The controller was still operating fine, and so we're back in operation at this point in time.
That looks like it's about a 10 amp diode.
Yeah, yeah.
So I have found these same model of chargers on eBay and things like that for about $150.
Yeah. Did you find out about? Did we have a manual and a schematic for it?
We have manuals. We don't have schematics. Schematics are.
We might look online, see if we can find a.
I looked. I couldn't find anything online. So.
Okay. No service manual or anything.
No service manual, so that I could find.
All right.
So.
Oh, yeah. Well, we might just see if we can pick up another one.
That's what I was thinking too. The price was fairly inexpensive, so that might be something we can chat about offline.
Okay.
Whenever we see each other again, I mean, I could repair this probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, right now our controller is operating off the batteries, so and the batteries are not being charged. So we do want to get something back up there charging the batteries again.
All right.
Hal, you should be able to use 2 independent 12-volt chargers, one per battery.
No, that might be difficult because
we're kind of limited on space.
Yeah.
Also, that tends to be a problem because of the imbalance between the 12 volts for that. It's better to do what was currently up there, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think maybe we'll go ahead and pursue trying to pick up another one anyway, and it'd be good to have a backup if we need it. So.
Yep.
Okay, that's all I have regarding that. So both repeaters are back up on the air and operating. The noise is still present. Looked like it was not going to be there for a little while, and it comes and goes, but noise is still present. So last night I decided I would see if I could shorten up the squelch tail on the repeater and shorten the time between when somebody unkeys and the courtesy tone occurs. The previous time it was 1 second to the courtesy tone and 2 seconds for the repeater to drop. So I've shortened that up now to like 0.3 of a second to the courtesy tone. So if you're operating and you unkey, you may or may not hear any of the courtesy tone. But if you're listening to somebody else, you will probably hear the entire courtesy tone. But it's very, very short right after the unkey. It's about 0.3 of a second. And the repeater will drop off in about 1 second. Just to try to shorten up the time that our obnoxious noise occurs on the repeater. So far, it seems to be doing what I had hoped it would do, and if it's still there, it's just a very short burst.
Hey, Hal.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm already hearing people comment on, hey, where's the beep? I heard that last night, and I did not reply because it was like 3 o'clock in the morning and I was just sound asleep. But you might would you be willing to send out an email maybe to the club and let people know that that has occurred?
Yeah, I'll send out a update to the club, to the reflector, and so just continue operating as normal. If you unkey and if you don't hear the courtesy tone, you're fine. you can rekey right back up again and continue on, and you will not time out the repeater. Unless you key down for more than 2 minutes without.
Unless you've already timed out the repeater.
So that's all I have.
All right, thanks, thanks, Hal. Do we want to do a brief swap meet update before I move on to field day? Is there anything to report? Or are we?
We're almost done. Michelle is finalizing the finalizing of the hospitality, and we will be ready for the audit a little bit later.
Okay. Cool. So moving on to field day, I'd like to update everybody on the status of field day. So at our last board meeting, the board decided to delay the decision as to whether we hold the Mike and Key field day event until the next board meeting, which will occur on Tuesday, June 2nd. So the plan is to have communication out to the club immediately after that board meeting and let you all know what we'll be doing for field day. From field day chairperson perspective, I am working with Ivy, and we are proceeding as if radio camp and field day are going to happen. So there is a lot of planning and permits and things that have to be in place well in advance of field day. So if there's any chance at all that we'll be doing anything at Fort Flagler, we have to keep driving on all these things. Otherwise, like, we could get to the last minute and the governor could say, hey, everybody go out and do whatever you want. And then, you know, we won't have our permits and porta potties and people to haul the trailers up and stuff like that. So we're proceeding as if it is going to happen. We are in direct communication with the park, so I would like to remind everyone, thank you all for caring so much and sending me emails about how your cousin bumped into Jay Inslee in the men's room at the Capitol building and heard him mumble something about parks. Like, we're in direct communication with the park people. We require them to confirm that our reservations are still good. We require them to approve our permit. So I appreciate the rumors and speculation everybody's sending me. Please stop sending it to me, because I'm not going to pay any attention to it. I need the guy from the park to say it's approved, and nothing else really matters. So if you just stop forwarding me articles and stuff, thank you. So as it stands right now, if you're aware of the governor's phased opening plan, we're in phase 1 now. The current thinking is that phase 2, in theory, will begin on January 1st. June 1st. June's the other January. It's just like January, only warmer. So the best case scenario is if phase 3 begins exactly 21 days after phase 2, which is the best case scenario, that would allow us to have radio camp, assuming that our group camping reservation is honored. That would also give us about 3 days of leeway to still have field day. So to do field day, we need to be able to come to the park and camp and or stay at the barracks on Thursday, on the Thursday before field day, so we can set up on Friday morning. So at this point, while I'm saying that we are proceeding as if the event will happen, we are jumping through hoops. I wrote an amendment to our field day plan explaining to the state parks guys all the crazy things we're going to do to reduce risk and everything. My feeling is we're not going to get approved, but we're going to keep doing everything as if we are going to get approved, and we'll jump through whatever hoops we can to make it happen. But at this point, if phase 2 or phase 3 slip by, even if the governor even delays it by like 3 days on either one of them, it's going to be too late for us. So it seems unlikely. Not impossible, not impossible, just unlikely. So we'll keep driving on it. So some people have asked, and I think it's a fair question, what does this mean? What does, let's say we get to phase 3 and our permits and everything are approved, how does this field day maybe look different than other field days? So we won't be able to have any activities where we have large numbers of people, you know, in the same space at once. So this means that we will, you know, we probably wouldn't have, say, like the traditional group breakfast that we have on Friday morning when everybody crowds into the barracks. Like that would be really, really bad. We will not be having a GOTA station. You know, we can't have, you know, a bunch of people lining up and crowding into a tent to operate the GOTA station. So the GOTA station will be a no-go. We may not have the Friday night potluck, or we may modify it. It may be more of a, you know, everybody sets the food out and you come and grab something and then wander off into smaller groups. We are going to have reduced participation, right? There's a lot of people that can't come, shouldn't come. It's too risky for them. We totally understand that. So we recognize that, you know, we're gonna have fewer people available for setup. So we're very likely that if field day goes ahead, we won't be a 6 alpha this year. We'll probably be a 5 alpha. So we'll probably be dropping GOTA 15 meters and probably VHF, because we may not have enough people available to put up that tower. We will most likely run 20 meters on the tower trailer where we would normally have the 15-meter beam. That will reduce the number of people we need for setup. That will prevent us having to have, you know, 6 people, 7 people, you know, hoisting antennas up and tripping all over each other. So that's kind of, that will be a reduction, but we'll see. So we've drafted a plan. I've shared it with the board. I've shared it with the park. It's not approved yet. So again, it's just kind of speculation at this point. But as soon as it's approved, you know, we'll get word out. So the plan is, if all of this goes forward, yes, no tower climbing, Ivy. Yeah. So we're doing things to reduce the risk. We're trying to reduce any large, you know, groups of people in one place, and we're going to reduce our footprint a bit. So if things are approved and we make the go decision on June 2nd, Jim, you can climb a tree or something. Then what I will do is I will hold a special Zoom session on Saturday, June 6th, and I will get the word out on this, you know, on the evening of the 2nd or early on the 3rd. I will hold a special Zoom session on field day. So the field day briefing that would normally happen during this May meeting will happen during a special session on the 6th of June. And then we will, of course, do a follow-up, you know, any final questions, any final planning details, you know, briefly in our club meeting, the club meeting the weekend before field day or immediately before field day. But there will be a special field day planning session to let everybody know what's going on and to fill any blanks in at the last minute. So if we can't do the full, you know, if we can't do the Fort Flagler field day that we all know and love, what would we do otherwise? So Ivy and I have been discussing some ideas. Again, maybe what I'm saying is on June 6th, I'm probably going to do a presentation no matter what. So we have some ideas for alternatives if we can't do field day as a club. We have some ideas of how to keep the club active during field days. So some of the ideas, and I'm open to suggestions on this one. Some of the ideas we had were, we would love for the club call sign to be on the air for field day regardless. So one thing we might want to do is find somebody, because I know you guys are out there, who has a really good home station and would be willing to have a few people over to, you know, come over and help operate, to put K7 LED on the air for field day. I think, you know, even if it's just a 1 Delta or a 1 Alpha or whatever, you know, I think it would be a shame for the club call not to be on the air for field day. So that's one thing we would like to do. Other ideas that we were bouncing around were maybe we do a little contest inside the contest that's not a contest, to see what home club members can make the most contacts during field day. So who's the most active during field day, or maybe who gets the most points for the CW ops out there. So we've considered that, maybe a little contest, maybe, various ideas. We have also considered, and my tendency is, and I'll defer to the board on this one, but as your field day chair, we have also discussed briefly, what if we did sort of a smaller field day operation with our equipment, not from Fort Flagler. So what if we, took the trailers to a different location, a club member's property or something, and we had a 2 Alpha or something like that with a much smaller group of people. I'm not sure about that. If we want to run the generator and everything, that you're not going to do that in your backyard. The generator's very loud. Your neighbors would hate you. So it would have to be a pretty significant piece of property. I'm not a fan. It's definitely possible, though. I mean, the equipment that we have, doesn't have to be set up at Fort Flagler. It's a tower trailer. We could put up a tower just about anywhere. So it would be an interesting exercise. But I'm going to defer to the board on that one. I'm kind of on the fence personally. I'm in the mode of like, it's full on Mike and Key, Fort Flagler, operating 20 meters from a bunker at 11 o'clock at night, or nothing. But that's probably me just being a little traditionalist. So look for an update, like I said, late on June 2nd, probably early on June 3rd. Look for something coming up on June 6th, where we'll talk about what we're going to do for field day. And that's pretty much it, unless I don't know if the chat's blinking, if anybody has, yes, questions.
Is there any direction from ARRL is how this thing's supposed to run at all, or are you getting crickets?
I haven't asked. I'm sure they would have an opinion. I mean, I don't know if anybody else has watched the communications from the ARRL. From my point of view, it seems like they're just basically saying, yeah, your big field day is not going to happen this year.
Yeah, they're saying think out of the box and do something.
Other states may be under different restrictions or non-restrictions, so some people may be, some states are going to be full up and other states are going to be full restricted. So I would think they should have given some kind of direction, I would think, but just
yeah, Carl, from what I've been seeing on the ARRL newsletters, they're stating field day is going to be field day. Continue on as best you can. And Mike Dinkelman, you have another comment?
Yeah, well, just a second here. Okay, so I just did the 7QP, and the amount of, am I being heard? I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, the activity was extraordinary, and for a QSO party, that was pretty weird. Now, it was 4 QSO parties, but it was East Coast and West Coast, but a lot of people were stuck home, and I think that's why the activity was so great. The only problem with working from home is that you're not allowed points, or there's certain restrictions if you're just using your home station. But if you're running Class C and emergency power, you can basically run from home and with no restrictions. And I was sort of hoping the ARRL would open up the 1,000-foot rule distancing, so you could have a single sideband station at one location and a CW station and another one linked together, or things like that. They haven't come through with anything like that. But there might be, I mean, I've anticipated this for a while, and I've just thought about having CW Beach here. I've got lots of room. I can throw up my tent, or I can operate from the deck. I can run a generator, and you're allowed to use your home antennas. So there would be very little setup involved, and there's plenty of room for social distancing. But I don't think I can support both a single sideband operation, and I think in some ways I could, but it would be one mode or the other would get the short stick.
Mike, what was the name of that contest? last week?
7th District QSO party, that was a couple weekends ago, and it was on at the same time as the New England QSO party. So you basically had the East and West Coast. I ran 1,500 queues in less than 18 hours, and it was just fantastic. And we could see a lot of home operations and even more activity.
Yeah, Ivy posted some stuff from the ARRL website in the group chat too, if you haven't seen it. About 3 paragraphs with the update.
I don't know if anybody, if any other group is using Valley Camp, but if the governor opens up camping, Valley Camp is ham friendly and it's in Issaquah or close to. It's not that far, so.
It's in North Bend, yeah.
North Bend, yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, one thing is if group camping is allowed, in theory, we could do some reduced operation from the wagon wheel. You know, you could imagine doing like a 1 alpha or 2 alpha from the wagon wheel at Fort Flagler. That's definitely possible. However, our group campground reservation starts on the day that phase 3 would start if nothing is delayed. So we'll see.
The Issaquah Radio Club uses that North Bend site. Also, Bellevue BCS uses it.
Yeah, there's a lot of clubs that like to go in there. So you definitely have some competition.
On field day, I think they have reservations.
Yeah.
David, does the group camp explicitly require phase 3 since we're each camping technically in our own units and so forth?
Maybe not. We don't know, and the park people don't know.
Well, because of the number, we would need to be under 50, and we're running an average of 35.
Yeah. Some people were concerned that I should have mentioned this, that there would be more than 50 people at the wagon wheel. But according to Dick, who keeps the census, we don't really ever have more than 58 people at the wagon wheel. We might during the potluck on Friday nights when everybody from the barracks comes down. But if we cancel or modify that, we should be fine.
And during phase 2, it's 5 people.
5. Yep.
So it doesn't really help us much at the wagon wheel.
Yep. So, like I said, it doesn't look good, but we're going to keep charging forward as if it's going to happen. So if it is approved, we'll be ready, and we'll see how things turn out. Any other questions? I'm sorry, I wish I had more answers.
You want to mention the work party today?
No, because then we'll have more than 5 people and somebody will sneeze on somebody and then we'll all turn into zombies or whatever's going on. So I think we have more than enough people. But yeah, we are having a work party today where we'll be messing around with our generator, and we'll probably, Ivy and I will probably give the equipment trailer a touch up, and we'll be checking the tower trailer and making sure everything's ready to roll.
I have the license plates tab, so I'll probably swing by and put those on so we're
legal. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, we'll be legal when we can legally go out and do things.
Okay, so let's keep moving because we do have a presentation today. So the next thing on my agenda, which is not the presentation, not yet, Jim, we wanted to move to good of the order. And for the good of the order, Jim has a couple items for us, and then we can get things from everybody in general.
Okay, so first thing that I wanted to share with you is we've been operating just 2 days shy of 2 months with Zoom. So far, we have had 76 different meetings. We've hosted 812 different participants in those meetings. And I don't agree with their calculation for number of minutes because it just doesn't sound right. 52,000 625 in 76 meetings with 812. It seems like they must be counting the minutes for each participant or something, because that's crazy. I know that one meeting that we had, I think it was the first one, or no, it was the second one on April. We did have some people that kept in the chat room and kept it going until like 6 o'clock at night or something like that, which is cool. I mean, we're definitely getting our money's worth out of it. But that was just some usage stats for the Zoom meeting format. And like David mentioned at the beginning, I'm really glad that we adopted the Zoom with all of its warts and the updates and all of that. It does seem to be opening up, you know, especially with the Rag Chew and other things with the meetings and things. It seems to be keeping our meetings growing, and especially for board meetings. I know everybody likes it because you can have a board meeting and have a little glass of wine, a beer or whiskey or whatever, glass of water, and you don't have to get up and drive. And when you're done, you're done. So that's it on the Zoom stats. The second thing I wanted to mention, we did start the 3 different stay home, stay healthy, stay learning groups. And it was just a thought that I decided they're kind of special interest groups that I wanted to see who had interest in. So to kind of be catchy, I called it Morse Code Monday, WinLink Wednesday, and FL Digi Friday. And so far, each one of those days, we've had about 10 people join into each of those sessions. And we moved them to 8:30 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, just to give us a little bit of buffer between our nets that we hold on the radio on a K7 LED repeater. So I invite everybody that's participating today, tune in Monday, Wednesday, Friday into the Zoom meetings, and I will send a little reminder again on Sunday. And I have some discussion, some email with the board, and I will continue that and answer. Scott had some good feedback about creating some subgroups in our Groups.io, basically to share files and to kind of have like a special interest group spin-off of the general Mike and Key ARC at group, or the MKARC at Groups.io. So it would become 3 different little subgroups, but there'll still be some more discussion about that before we continue on, because I wanted to get some feedback from the board. So that's all I had. There was a comment for the good of the order from Mark. Mark, could you add in your comment?
Yes. Looking around and seeing who checked in, I realized that we have 2 of our founders that checked in today. Pete, K7WTG, and Chuck, WA7EBH. So a big round of applause for seeing you folks again. And I think we've seen Chuck last time. It's nice to see you, Pete. Welcome to our club meeting. It's good to have you.
Cool.
It looks like he's trying to talk. He needs to push the space bar to get open.
Oh, yeah, that's
or unmute him.
I can't find him. Where I got 3 different pages of people here. Press the space bar to talk.
Pete is unmuted and he's talking, but we're not getting it.
Oh, weird. Oh yeah, I hear I don't know what's going on, Pete. We can barely hear some fuzz coming in.
Sounds like I do when my
Click the
camera's
little up
screwed.
arrow next to the mute button and pick your correct microphone.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Sounds like you're gargling, Pete.
Sounds like Morse code static.
Yeah, I think you really have to go and test your audio settings and use that test mic button in that dialogue to really sort this out.
Yeah. Well, Pete, if you get it tested and everything's working in the little test, you know, come back and give us a talk. Give us a chat. You still got waterfall sound.
That's AGC on static.
How about Chuck, WA7EBH?
Yeah, we're still kicking along here. So this Zoom meeting stuff works pretty good because it's 100 and some odd miles for me to drive down to the meeting and that. So this works good.
Glad to have you in, Chuck.
I'm 900 miles away. Anybody further?
Monica, how far is it to Wyoming?
3 days.
Yeah.
2.5 days.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming in. Go ahead, Michelle.
Well, I left for a second because I heard my mail hit the door down there. And there is the new QST for May with a cover on it that says Field Day 2020, challenge yourself. So there's articles in here about challenging ourselves.
Yep. Sounds like it's going to be a challenge this year. Besides, it's not a contest. It's just an exercise. Right?
That's right.
It's a contest.
Exercise and judgment, maybe.
Well, I tell you, in all my years of doing field day, there's always a learning experience in field days, and it's always good.
Okay, so do we have any other items for good of the order? If not, I maybe propose a quick little break before we have our presentation by Manfred AG7NR.
I do think that we have to take a thing to
Vote on
close
it?
the meeting and all that other stuff. So David, it's you. You're on.
Yeah, if we don't have anything else for the good of the order, we need to close the official business part of the meeting. I would be open to entertain a motion to close the meeting.
So moved.
And I'll second that.
I got a
Who seconded?
Scott AG7T seconded.
Thank you.
They're fighting over it.
I third it.
Yeah, everybody will have a chance to third it in just a moment. So we'll, similar to how we voted in new members, we'll vote yes or no in the participant list if you approve to end this business meeting. Jim, it sends a mixed message when you second it and then vote no.
No, I thirded it.
Oh. All right, it looks like, well, I can't see the whole list because we keep getting
34. Just look at the numbers.
Yeah, there we go. I don't see the
35
numbers. I think that's a special power you have.
Ooh.
Well, it looks like we've
37.
approved, so I'll, I don't have my gavel, so I can't pound on anything, but yeah, meeting is adjourned. Thanks everyone for coming. It's great to see 56 people online. It's amazing.
Hey, James, do you want to go ahead and stop the recording and create a second one for the presentation?
I am stopping the recording.